I cannot marry a poor farmer. Leave my sight now. Who's that one over there? A palm wine tapper. God forbid. I will marry a rich handsome man worthy of my beauty.
Once upon a time, in the quiet village of Umuagu, lived a young woman named Olamma. She was light-skinned, tall, and breathtakingly beautiful, with an endowed body, full, round breasts, and wide, curvy hips that made heads turn wherever she passed. From a young age, Olamma was showered with praise. "You are the pride of our village," the women would say. "Any man who marries you is the luckiest man alive," the men would whisper. And Olamma believed them. She walked with grace, knowing she was admired. She spoke with confidence, certain of her charm, and when suitors came knocking, she turned them away one by one. "I cannot marry a poor farmer," she would laugh. "A palm wine tapper? God forbid." She wanted a rich man, a handsome man, a man worthy of her beauty, and until he came, she would wait. But destiny had other plans. One day, a wealthy trader named Obinna arrived in Umuagu. He was tall, dark-skinned, and had a broad chest. His pockets were deep, and his heart was kind. When he saw Olamma, he was captivated. "You are the most beautiful woman I have ever seen," he said, his voice rich like palm wine. "I want you to be my wife." Olamma looked at him, impressed by his fine clothes and confident stance. But then she noticed a small scar on his left cheek. Just a tiny scar. And at that moment, she made her decision. "I cannot marry a man with a scar on his face," she said, waving him away. The entire village gasped. "Olamma, do not be foolish," her mother warned. "Obinna is a good man." "Mama, I will not settle. My husband must be flawless." And so Obinna left. Days turned into weeks, and soon another man came into Umuagu. This one was different. He was tall, strong, and dangerously handsome. His skin was smooth like the surface of a river, and his eyes were deep and piercing. He rode a black horse and wore robes finer than anything the villagers had ever seen. The moment Olamma saw him, her heart skipped a beat. "Who is he?" she whispered. No one knew his name. No one knew where he came from. But when he spoke, his voice was like music. "I have traveled far and wide, searching for a woman worthy of my wealth, and now I have found her." His eyes locked onto Olamma. "Marry me, and I will give you a life beyond your dreams." Olamma's pride swelled. "Finally, a man who deserves me," she thought. Ignoring the whispers of warning from the elders, she took his outstretched hand and left her village without looking back. The journey was long, and the road was strange. They traveled for hours, deep into a thick forest Olamma had never seen before. "My love, where is your home?" she asked. The man only smiled. By the time they arrived, night had fallen. His mansion stood tall, made of black stone, glowing under the moonlight. But something was wrong. The air was thick, heavy, and in the silence she heard whispers. "Who is this woman?" "She is beautiful." "She does not know." Olamma shivered. "Who are they?" she asked, her voice trembling. The man turned to her, his eyes gleaming, and as he smiled, his teeth sharpened into fangs. "Welcome home, my bride." Olamma's heart stopped. She had married a spirit. The days that followed were like a nightmare. The mansion was filled with shadows, spirits that whispered in the dark, their voices crawling under her skin. Her husband, the man she once admired, was no man at all. He was an Agbara, a powerful spirit who fed on human pride. And now she was his prisoner. "You wanted a perfect man," he sneered. "Now you have one." Olamma wept. "Take me home," she begged, but there was no home to return to. The moment she stepped into his world, she had been erased from the land of the living. One night, as the spirit slumbered, Olamma saw her chance. She ran. Through the dark corridors, past the eerie whispers, she ran with everything inside her. She did not know where she was going. She did not know if she would survive, but she knew one thing. She had to escape. As she reached the gates, she heard a roar behind her. "You cannot leave!" The ground shook, the walls trembled. Olamma screamed, but just before the shadows swallowed her whole, a bright light appeared. A voice, strong, powerful, rang through the darkness. "Olamma, run!" And then everything went still. Olamma woke up in the village square. The people gasped. "Is it truly her?" Her mother collapsed in tears. "My daughter, you have returned." She had been gone for only 7 days, but it felt like years. She was thinner, weaker, but alive. And as she looked around, she finally understood. Her pride had nearly destroyed her. She had rejected good men for vanity, and in the end, she had nearly lost her soul. Now she knew the truth. The Olamma who returned was not the same Olamma who left. She no longer walked with her head too high. She no longer laughed at men who loved her sincerely. She had learned the true price of pride.